Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. It's going to happen today. A lot of things are going to happen today. A lot of big news just came out, and it will definitely change the cryptocurrency market. The old markets will also change because of this. I was wrong about Mr. 102. There's something very interesting now. I want to show you that because I thought he sold. At first glance, it looks like he sold on the Bitcoin rich list, but it turns out he didn't. Moved it around. Let me show you. I'll go over it in more depth in the video though. If you don't mind, please subscribe and turn on the bell icon below the movie to see more videos like this where you can trade cryptocurrency. When you sign up, it only takes seconds, and you can trade all sorts of assets. You can either long or short the market. Let's look at this now. The Japanese carry trade is back on because Japan is letting their currency lose value again while the US yield curve is going up. The carry trade lets companies borrow money easily in Japan and then use that money to flood us markets with new money. The Nasdaq is up about 1.3% today, and it had a good day yesterday too. To be clear, we knew this was going to happen. You can see, because of all the news that came out last night, the market is very unpredictable. To see how this affects things, the Bank of Japan must keep easing for now, among other things. But what not everyone saw coming was that today a lot of big banks would be putting out ETFs. A lot of people thought that all financial advisors were already pushing Bitcoin ETFs, even though we knew this yesterday. That's not true. Clients will be able to buy Bitcoin ETFs today from Morgan Stanley. The asset management company Morgan Stanley is one of the biggest in the world, with $1.3 trillion in AUM, and they're constantly pitching. They are constantly pitching these to clients to try to sell them. It looks like $1.9 trillion. It's also okay for Wells Fargo agents to sell Bitcoin ETFs. Reports say this is going to happen, but no one knows if it will happen today or in a few days. But the US is also beginning to print money today. Each month, $30 billion will be used to buy back treasury bonds. That is, more support here, more quantitative easing here, less value for the yen, more value for the US dollar. We're also getting pitches from smaller businesses that want to work with us. $13.2 billion, according to an expert at Cantor Fitzgerald. Today seems like a good time to get more involved with Bitcoin before what could be a huge year of gains next year. We also know that Grayscale is now making new single-asset crypto investments such as the Grayscale Sui Trust and the Bittenser Trust, or TAO. Now, Sui was up about 3% on this the last time I checked. It's true that TAO is still down a little on the day. But I mean, more crypto goods are being sold. Crypto goods are being pushed more. In the 11 days after it launched, BlackRock's ETH made almost $1 billion. This is a very good start. Remember that a lot of that comes from Grayscale. The BlackRock Bitcoin ETFs were still down yesterday though, and this still got $110 million. And this is after the price dropped 18%. So they're still getting in on the deal when prices drop. You can see that Solana is also hitting new highs today compared to Ethereum. In 2 days, that's a pretty big move. Take a look at this. This move, Solana did 20% better over 3 days. That's crazy. That's crazy. Solana is now back at 150. Let's do it. Look at this. Solana is up 14% at 148, while Ethereum is down 0.4% at 2400. Solana is doing much better than expected. What about MR.100? I said in the video this morning that it looks like MR.100 dumped around 6,000 Bitcoin. But now there's more proof that he might not be dumping, but just moving it. This wallet address is now also in the top 100. You can get into it about 2 hours after leaving this wallet. Okay, so maybe it took a few hours to confirm the deal or something, but I have those right here. I'll show you. This is the pocket that Mr. 100 has now marked as his own. Outgo 2,952 Bitcoin, outgo 3,000 Bitcoin, and outgo between 450 and 552. If we look over here, we see that the amount of Bitcoin added is around $734. This happened a couple of hours ago. To be honest, this looks a lot like the other wallet as well. For example, the buying spree began in November 2022, and the deposits began around January 13th, 2023, 3 months later. There were a few small sales, but more moves than purchases. It's a lot alike. That makes me think of Mr. 100's wallet, which is a lot like Collection. Also, it would be interesting if all of these sells that we thought were happening, I'm not going to do this much research matched up with when these transfers were made. For example, if we look at this chart, 422 for 22, 50 Bitcoin 40. Since this was 1,000 Bitcoin, it doesn't look like it all adds up. It looks like there was only a sale, but this is a clear move. Who knows why they're doing this? Whoever this thing is, I was wrong. I don't know why he's doing this. I think I said this morning that there is only one reason to buy, but there are many reasons to sell. There are times when you should sell even though you're not selling. It looks like it. It's possible that you're just switching accounts. It's like when you look at your bank account and see $5,000 disappear. You think they're spending it on something, but they might just have moved it to another account. Still, let me know what you think. Tell me what you think about Mr. 100 below the film. Does this make sense? I think the fact that it was the exact Bitcoin amount within a few hours is a pretty good sign that he is not selling. We just talked about N64 a few hours ago, so let's move on to news about Saylor and how much Bitcoin he really has. It went up quickly after that. Be careful because the market cap is small. It changes a lot, but it shot up about 30% to 40%. It's going down a bit now, but it's still up from where we called it a couple of hours ago, up about 10%. But I will also be paying attention to this one because I plan to buy some as well. There is news about Michael Saylor that he says he has more than $1 billion in Bitcoin. Remember that he also owns a lot of MicroStrategy, so that is a big amount. In other words, he has about 2.4 million MicroStrategy shares, which are worth around $3.1 billion right now. Remember that MicroStrategy is worth more than the Bitcoin they have on hand. Michael Saylor does have many billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, but this is directly linked to the price of Bitcoin. That means he has about $4 billion invested in Bitcoin. Pretty crazy. But please tell me what you think about all of this below the film. Please tell me what you think about Japan's decision to fold the day after they try to be tough and raise interest rates. They only go up by 0.15%. Remember that their fund rate, or percent, was 0.1%. Getting to 0.25 is like a 150% rise. That is a different way to look at it. You can compare that to the US, where people are saying that rates might go down by 0.5%, which is only about 10% of the fund rate. There is another way to look at it, but Japan did fall apart right away. Around the same time that the federal government is easing monetary policy even more, RIAs, financial advisors, and big businesses are beginning to push Bitcoin. It looks like we'll soon see some cuts here. It looks like a good time to be in this market overall, right? In other words, we're still a long way from the top. We did move up very quickly, and we talked about that on the channel. We said things like, hey, if you don't have Bitcoin and you want to get exposure to Bitcoin, that might make sense. But remember that we've had a very strong rise. That's what we said the whole time. Now, even with this recent drop and then rise, we're still about 24% below our most recent high. That is a pretty big deal. Also, remember that if prices go back up to all-time highs, you will have gained more than 24%. Now you know how numbers work. That means that if we want to get back to the same price as before, it would cost about 31 to 32% more. A lot of other coins would be worth even more than that. In this case, if you want to, put yourself in a position of power again. There is a link to Margex below the movie. You should be careful, and I have a few movies that can help you. Also, remember that Bitcoin is becoming more popular. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw some kind of alt season once we got a little higher. That being said, we've only seen a lot of money pool around the best performing investments so far.